You're watching the Cult News Network Open Discussion with Live Callers Edition with your host, Cliff Henrys and Tom Burtis.
Good evening. I'm your host, Tom Burtis, with my colleague, Cliff Henrys. Tonight, as promised, we're going to have open discussion. That means you at home can call in with your questions, or if you just have something on your mind that you'd like to talk about. We'd be glad to listen. The phone number is posted at the bottom of your screen. Operators are standing by. Cliff, who's our first caller this evening?
Tom, our first caller is Mrs. Williams from Los Angeles. She said she attended the IDMR. Go ahead, Mrs. Williams, you're on live.
Hi, I was primarily an early IDMR class member, and as a mother of three, I can tell you that raising our kids in the IDMR is very toxic for a multiplicity of reasons. I try to talk about these things with other members in class who are parents, and most of them either will not admit that there were any issues at all, or else they try to rationalize it as some sort of collateral damage. In other words, they think their souls are potentially going to be saved, and in the mental health of their children it is worth the sacrifice somehow. I just think it's sick and deranged, because let me tell you, raising our kids while they're being told that they won't live to see adulthood, or they'll never go to college, or the world will end, so there's no need for goals or plans of pursuing a meaningful career, nor were they thinking about getting married. I'll tell you something what my daughter told me. It's heartbreaking, but in 2007, my daughter said to me, she said, "Mama, I wish I was born 20 or 30 years earlier like you and Daddy." I said, "Why is that, baby?" She said, "Because Dr. Harris said the world's gonna end by 2010, and that means I'll never get to be a mama." And I mean, this is just so disgusting, because this is irreparable damage to somebody when they grow up like this. And, it's like I can't talk to anybody in the class about it because they don't think it's an issue.
Mrs. Williams, I'm very sorry to hear this. This is so sad, and this is not an isolated case.
I know that's right.
This is very typical of what happened throughout the IDMR because of the doom narrative. One of our men in the research department told me he personally knows two women who decided not to raise families because they heard Dr. Harris say, "This isn't a time for you to be having children." You see? What a disaster. And see, now he passed away 5 years ago. He doesn't have to face the consequences of his reckless statements to the people. They looked up to him because they thought he was a divine authority. I tried to tell the Dean of Detroit about these sorts of disasters caused by the IDMR. I said, "Look, man, you destroyed people's lives telling them this kind of stuff." And he's like, "No, it's people, they didn't understand right. They didn't get it. They got it wrong." No, man, don't be so dishonest. Don't blame the students for this. This is you. This is you people who claim to be delivering the truth. Whether you were just a repeater or you claim to be an eyewitness, whatever it is, you destroyed people's lives, and that shows there's nothing divine about you or your message.
Tom, I'm so happy you said that. I thank you for saying that, because that's exactly what it is. They blame the students for not understanding properly. They don't want to blame the reckless statements by the ministers, because that'll show that they're not who they say they are.
Ms. Williams, I'd like to get you interested in Dr. Marlene Winnell. She has a PhD in psychology, and she writes on a subject that she calls religious trauma syndrome. I think you'll find her written material and lectures to be very helpful to bringing you and your family some closure as to what happened to y'all.